Matthew 22:14 says, "Many are called, but few are chosen." God is calling for us to do his good works. However, we must choose to obey him. Those who doubt the Lord will turn their backs and reject God's will. So God called Moses to bring the Israelites out of Egypt. In Exodus 3:11 through 4:17, Moses doubts God. He didn't trust God that he was the right person to secede the Israelites from the hand of Pharaoh. Even though Moses thought it was a bad idea at first, God made everything work out in the end. We can be like that sometimes because we think that if God is telling us to do something, that it's not going to go right and that it's not going to work out. But we need to trust God because he knows what he's doing, and so he will make everything work out right in the end. At first, Moses didn't see the big picture that God had planned, like we can do sometimes. So, also, before the Israelites crossed the Red Sea, when Pharaoh decided to come back for them, the people say, "Was it because there were no graves in Egypt that he brought us to the desert to die?" They doubted God would save them. Then Moses replies saying, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." This can apply to our everyday lives because we have to trust God to fight sin for us. Sometimes we'll doubt, but God is always patient and he will always come through for us because he loves us. We're his children, so he has to love us. But because the Israelites are human, like you and me, they made yet another mistake. When Moses went on top of Mount Sinai, the Israelites thought he would never come down. They chose to build a golden calf to replace God because they had lost all their faith in him. We can relate to this because when we lose hope in God, we start focusing on the world. We may start to focus on our phones, our electronics, maybe our favorite sports or clothes. But ladies, God isn't our typical boyfriend. He doesn't abandon us when we give him the silent treatment. Instead, he waits patiently until we realize that it is us who are wrong. We need to trust him and his plans. When I was 7 years old, my grandma was diagnosed with liver cancer. I was devastated. Like most people, I love my grandma very much. The doctors told us she had only a few years left, and my family, friends, and church members all prayed for her that she would heal. But I began to doubt God. I thought she'd never get better. Then I realized I needed to trust God, that whatever would happen, God would be in control and he would come through for us. 4 years after she was first diagnosed, the doctors declared her cancer-free. God had come through for my family. We trusted God, and he put his miracle to work. However, God tested my faith yet once again. Last spring, the doctors told us her liver cancer had come back. This time they told us she had only a few months, and once again I doubted God. When her health got worse, I became angry at God, but then I reflected back to the first time she had cancer. I shouldn't be mad at God. I should trust and pray. Unfortunately, she passed away this fall. Yes, I was upset, but I know God planned it as a lesson, and I know that he called me out and taught me to learn to trust him and not to doubt God. He has a plan, and we may not understand it at first. But in the end, we'll see the big picture, and we'll know why things happen the way they did. God is calling us to live a Christian life, and he is calling us to trust him and not to doubt. So I encourage you, as a Christian, to listen and not ignore him.